entitled Funding in the Green Sector. Our speaker is Masa Ishii, and he is Managing Director of NoVenti Ventures and has more than 25 years of experience as a professional in international business and high technology. Just before I turn it over to him, I just want to make one housekeeping note, and that is we'll be doing the question and answers at the end of his presentation. Okay, Masa, take it over.
Thank you, Daryl. Good morning, everyone. This is Masa Ishii. I'm delighted to be here this morning to talk about funding the green sector. Let me turn this to the next page. Okay, so I'd like to give you a brief introduction to NoVenti, and then let me talk about what's happening in the green tech market in general. So VC landscape in green tech market, and then I'd like to talk about how we work, how NoVenti works, namely how we find deals, what kind of due diligence we conduct, and how we work with investing companies once we invest make investment, and then spend a few minutes about point of view on exit. Let's see. So NoVenti is a venture firm started in 2002. It's an early stage technology venture firm based in Menlo Park, Silicon Valley, and it was actually initially called CIR Ventures because it was started with the money from a Italian company called the CIR, and we had one limited partner called the CIR Group. So that's why it was originally called CIR Ventures. And it was renamed NoVenti in 2006 when we formed the second fund. By the way, can everyone hear well my voice? Well, there's no way to hear your voice. So anyway, let me continue. So Fund 1 was called the CIR Ventures, and it was a small fund of three. A bit over modulated, but understandable. Okay, good. Probably my voice is too loud, so I'll just keep it down a little bit. It was a $30 million fund to invest in communications and software. We have invested in 14 companies, and so far 7 investments realized with top quartile returns, which we're reasonably proud of. And Fund 2 was formed in 2006. It's again a rather small fund of $43 million. And this time the limited partner, CI Group, formed a joint venture with an Austrian company, energy company, and the joint venture was called Solgenia, and Solgenia came in as an anchor investor. Other limited partners included Dynaphone Printing, DNP, and Sumitomo Electric Industrial, SEI. Those are 2 companies. They came in as well from Japan. And we are now focusing on emerging green technologies and applications. Let's see here. Okay, let me introduce briefly our team. We are 3 managing directors. Giacomo Marini. Let me use a pointer here. Let's see. Oh, how do I use the pointer? Oh, here. Giacomo Marini, myself, Masa Ishii, and James Horn, the 3 managing directors, and a venture partner, Pierluigi Zappacosta, and Simone Rizzi from Solgenia, one of the major limited partners in Fund 2. Now, as you can see, here we're fairly international. Giacomo and Pierluigi and Simone, they're from Italy. Me, myself, I'm from Japan. James from the United States. So we're a very international team, and we're a group of very entrepreneurial executives. Giacomo and Pierluigi, they are two of the three founders of Logitech. I'm assume that many of you know the Logitech mouse, Logitech webcam, and so forth. Those two people are two founders of co-founders of Logitech. And actually, I was a classmate of Pierluigi at Stanford University many years ago. So we have known each other over 30 years. And James came in when Giacomo started the first fund. So we have been connected for a long time, and with a very strong operational expertise in the US, Asia, and Europe, including, you can see here, Logitech, IBM, NoVenti, and so forth. And we are a team of people who are fairly well connected in Silicon Valley through various official means to meet people, such as California Clean Tech Open, US-Italy Alternative Energy Roundtable, and many people in Japan, including our affiliate, Venture Capital in Japan. And as you can see already, we are a global team, and we have the ability to quickly address international markets and access to worldwide resources for optimal capital deployment. So this is briefly our team. And so our second fund, NoVenti 2, focuses on green tech, such as energy technologies, certainly, I mean, clean and renewable energies like solar, fuel cell, wind, and biofuels. Distributed generation, the smart grid, advanced batteries, mobile power, and so forth. And environment and resource technologies such as waste and emission reduction, and advanced transportation, clean vehicles. Also, electronic semiconductors. These are components that serves clean tech or green tech applications like sensors, solid-state lighting, advanced semiconductors, and so forth. And also some software intelligence and data management, including smart grid, just like I mentioned earlier, communication network and wireless technology applications to be deployed in the green tech. So far, we invested in 4 companies. The first one was in biodiesel, a company called Aura Biofuels. This company developed a very novel process to produce biodiesel in a very cost-efficient way. Second investment was in a company called Heliobolt. This is a fairly big deal. When we came in, it was like $101 million deal. And it was a thin film based photovoltaic, CIGS based photovoltaic process. And the third one that we invested in is intelligent lighting control, Luminology. This company developed very interesting technology to control the fluorescent light dimming, continuous dimming, and also the way to control from the center of the building, so that you can optimally control the lighting of the entire building. The fourth one we invested in was a small wind turbine called Mariah Power. This is I know many of you have seen a very large horizontal axis turbine, but this one is a small wind turbine with vertical axis, which can be installed on top of not on top of the the building, but along next to the building, like schools, communities, buildings, and so forth. In fact, actually, a few stations have been already installed in some states in the United States. Okay. Okay. I'm just checking whether my audio is working well or not. Seems like audio is working well. Okay, great. So this is basically what we are at NoVenti Ventures, second fund. Now let's turn to what's happening in general, the venture capital industry for the green tech area. So this graph here is the amount of venture capital invested in all sectors by year. As you can see, after the burst of net bubble, it bottomed at in 2003, and recovered through 2007. And in 2008, the total amount of venture capital investment in all sectors, including green tech and biotechnology, software, and so forth, was amounted to $28 billion. And the number of deals was close to 4,000. This is the overall picture of how much money was invested in, how much money of the venture capital invested each year. Now, let's take a look at what happened in the green tech area. So, here, okay. In the green tech area, as you can see here, so this is a blue bar graph. This is the amount of venture capital money invested in the green tech sector, which amounted to $4.1 billion as of 2008. And this red graph shows the percentage of venture capital investment made in green tech sector out of the entire amount. So as you can see here, in 2001, the venture capital investment in green tech sector represented only 1.4% of the entire amount invested in the whole sector. But 80 years later, 2008, as you can see here, the venture capital investment in green tech sector represented as much as 14.5% of the total venture capital investment. So it's a very, very impressive growth that the green tech sector have been receiving from the venture capital industry. And geographically, so 2008, the total amount invested in green sector venture capital investment was $4.1 billion. Of that, 46% was invested in California, most of which, or at least the majority of that, in Silicon Valley. So this was what's happening in general, the VC investment in green tech sector. But as everyone is aware, or maybe wondering what happened, what's the implication of the Lehman shock. Actually, at that time, so about 1 year ago, a little more than 1 year ago, we started wondering what would be the impact of the financial crisis on venture. And here's what we thought that would happen. In other words, new capital commitments to venture capital will significantly reduce short term, which actually happened. And also, the capital availability for large deals will be reduced. And liquidity market may slow down further. And opportunities in capital efficient companies may open up. So, and after 1 year, what happened was actually the number and size of deals reduced, and deal flow affected by general economic conditions, and liquidity markets have slowed down. Started recovering. And IPO market shows a little bit sign of encouraging sign, but this could be a little bit overstatement. What we're seeing now is that companies who can survive through this period will probably emerge stronger. So what happened during the past 1 year is that certainly the venture capital industry has been affected by this economic condition over the past 1 year. The IPO market didn't open up. The amount of money that flew in to venture capital was significantly reduced, and so therefore the VC firms have also become fairly conservative in terms of conservative and selective, I would say, in terms of making a venture capital investment. Okay. Actually, I am seeing several questions, comments on the chat screen here. Return 10 years. Yeah. Okay. Well, probably we can do a question and answer after my session, my talk. I don't know how to interact. Oh, okay. Thank you. I will. Okay. So, what basically what will be happening? What's happening now, and what will be happening in the future? At not quite a bright future we're seeing here. In other words, the IPO market, or more in general, liquidity environment remains fairly challenging. The liquidity opportunity is still scarce. Limited encouraging signs in the IPO market, and so most of the exits will be probably through merger and acquisitions. And secondly, financing syndicate will continue to be difficult to assemble because VC firms are focusing on their portfolio. Actually, NoVenti, as early stage companies, we come in as a significant investor in early stage companies, but we always need to secure I should not say always, but most of the time, we try to secure VC funds with deeper pocket, which can lead lead in the second round. I mean, and the following round, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. Also, it's taking much longer time to attract additional investors. So we invest in this round, and next round of financing could be more difficult than before. It's not a good environment, and in the future that'll continue to true. And also, deal flow starts slowing down. It's probably fewer entrepreneurs are taking plunge in difficult economic conditions. They're not taking risks by starting new companies, so probably we'll have to move towards move beyond low-hanging fruits, if you will, so the whole situation is not very promising, but it's becoming difficult. But as I say later, if the companies can survive through this difficult time, I'm hopeful that the situation will change. Then let me move to NoVenti's investment approach. We're early stage investors. We take conventional technology investment approach, but we have certain principles that we take as listed here. Number one, we focus on next generation technologies in large markets. I try to build significant stakes in early rounds in the situation before broad consensus develops. In other words, we come in early where many larger firms, VC firms, are still questioning. We take risk and come in with a major investor, and then still we favor capital efficient companies, and more recently we started taking rather conservative entry evaluations and reserve conservatively for subsequent rounds, because we are small funds, only $43 million. On average, we'll probably invest in a company in the total amount of probably $6 to $10 million. So we typically invest $2.5 million on average in the first time, and then reserve the rest for the following investment. That's our approach. Let me share with you graphically our VC funding process. This is not just unique to NoVenti, but this is, I think, a general approach. So we in various ways we access to information of the companies, potential companies to invest. So business plan, as we see a business plan or company information, they are logged in the what we call a deal database, and then based on that, we conduct preliminary screening, and we have meetings with companies by visiting companies, seeing a presentation, PowerPoint presentation, and then if the company is not worthwhile, further examination, we drop or just put it back into the database for further monitoring. And then when we feel that this is worth sharing at weekly deal flow meeting. Yes, I think as most of the firm does, we have weekly deal flow meeting where we discuss deals which could be a good target for investment. And then we discuss, and as a result, we drop or monitor again, go back to a deal database. And then once, this deal passes this meeting, then we enter detailed due diligence process by asking a lot of questions, visiting companies, visiting customers, interviewing customers, and getting more information from outside. I can share with you in the following pages what kind of questions we ask. And some of the deals, some of the situation may go back to the weekly deal flow meeting after detailed due diligence. And then some of them we judge that they are not very worthwhile, and then go back to the deal database. And after detailed due diligence, we most highly likely situations we generate what we call investment memorandum. This is a more rather formal memo which includes several key points in the investment, which I'll show you later. And then based on the discussion and judgment, if the entire firm, well, this says investment committee meeting. I understand the larger firms have investment committee meeting, investment committee, and they have meetings composed of typically senior partners. In our case, it's a very small firm, so we the entire managing directors, three of us have meeting and decide what to do. And based on the investment memorandum, if we say, this is a good company to invest, then we start negotiating terms with the potential investee companies. At that time, we create a term sheet, especially if we are to lead the deal. And negotiation happens it takes anywhere between 1 week to 2 months, and then if we come to a basic agreement, then on basic agreement on terms, then we start generating legal documents, and that lead to closing. Now, so this is a general process flow of how a company is invested. So, in terms of deal sourcing, how we find deals, the one thing we can tell is that typically cold calls. A lot of ventures send us a business plan cold call, but typically we do not. These cold calls, those business plans that are sent to us out of air, will not get high attention. Instead, strong candidates often come from very trusted sources. Our firm network, personnel network, intermediaries and service providers. Firm network includes VCs that we work quite often. Personal network, each of us are well connected in Silicon Valley. Various people introduce us to interesting deals. And also, we proactively seek candidates by going to various conferences and trade shows. We even visit universities and research institutions seeking for interesting technologies and potential situations. Sometimes we gather information from press and journalists and seek investment opportunities from those. But again, as I said earlier, cold calls do not usually get a high attention. So, when I said so strong candidates often come from network of our firm. Here is our strategic firm network. Co-investors. These are let me see. Let me use the pointer again. Yeah, the co-investors. These are typically venture capital firms like Intel Capital, where one of our partners, James Horn, came from. NEA, New Enterprise Associate, USVP, Khosla Ventures, those those were some which are very prominent venture firms, much larger than NoVenti. We also work with business development partners like many corporations like Motorola, Docomo, the Sun Micro, and other type of companies. And also limited partners like CIR. This is an Italian company that actually it's a conglomerate which was sole LP in our first fund, and Solginia, which is a major anchor investor in our second fund. DNP, SOPA, Symptoma Electric, those are limited partners. They all serve as a very good potential source of deals. Now, so we find deals, then we enter preliminary and more formal, detailed due diligence, depending on the situation. And so, what kind of question will we ask? So here are some key questions, these key questions are in the area of, I would say, three major areas. One is market potential. The second is value proposition. In other words, technology or service. What kind of technology they have, what kind of services they propose. And then three, people or management capability. So these are three key portion of key ingredients of the areas that we ask. But also, certainly, we have to ask questions about financials and some other areas. So, for the market potential, the obvious question is who are the target customers? Is the target market big enough or expected to grow? If it's still small, is it really expected to grow big enough in a reasonable time frame? Why would the customer buy company's products? How would the company reach those target customers? These are the questions that we would ask related to market potential. Then technology and services. The the first question we would ask always, is the technology indeed superior vis-a-vis its competitors? Is the company's IP position well protected? Are there enough entry barriers? Is the product development plan realistic? Quite often, people come with a very aggressive business plan in terms of market potential and also a technology superiority and the product development plan. And we quite often ask, are they really realistic? Excuse me. Now, again, the third areas we are quite interested in finding out is the management capability. The typical question we ask is, does the management team have a relevant set of skills and team dynamics in terms of R&D, manufacturing, financing, and finance and marketing? Does the management team have sustained passion and leadership for achieving long-term success? That's fairly qualitative, but it's very, very important aspect of the team we look at. Excuse me. Let me have. Now, then, is the management team flexible enough to listen to other people's bright ideas? Quite often, people who come in with their invention are too confident in what they have developed and are not really willing to listen to what other people say. And it's very important from our perspective that the management team is flexible enough to listen to other people's bright ideas. So additionally, we ask how much investment is really required over what time span to achieve a set of self-sustainability, and how much investment is required for what purpose in this round of financing. Excuse me. And this, the third question is not really this is more our internal question, but does the opportunity fit our investment criteria in terms of strategy, investment stage, value added, and valuation range? So in summaries, we talk about market. We question market potential, technology, and people or management team. Those are the three key areas that we ask questions in terms of due diligence. Now, earlier, let me go back to a few slides here. Earlier, we said that for potential deals that pass these criteria, we generated. Let's see, this one here. Yes, investment memorandum, and then when we, in the investment committee or as a firm, we decided that we'd like to invest in this particular company, we generate a term sheet. Let me. Excuse me. This page shows what kind of items the investment memorandum contain and term sheet contains typically. The investment memorandum, this is an internal document, but this typically summarizes the result of due diligence, why we should invest in this company, the valuation, the deal structure, key risk factors, and possible exit scenario and expected returns and so forth. These are the key items that as we discuss in the investment memorandum internally. And then if as a firm if we decide to decide that we like to invest in this particular company, then we propose a term sheet, especially when we lead the round. And this term sheet typically contain offering terms, which include a closing date, closing conditions, investors and amount investors and amount raised, pre-money valuation, price. So in other words, and this round of finance, price per share, capitalization, dividends, liquidation, preference, and so forth. And then that should include also a stock purchase agreement. This is the main document for investment. And the term sheet will, this is will be a stock purchase, legal document which will be generated in acquiring stock in the company. And various investor rights, right of first refusal, co-sale voting, right of first refusal, right of co-sale, and so forth. So I cannot go through every detail in what's included in the term sheet, but these are the key ingredients of the term sheet. Excuse me. Now, the question of how actually we work with companies once we invested. Now, there are a lot of aspects to that, but key points in this phase. We always try to work. We are a very hands-on, active investor, and we closely work with companies that try to work with those companies as an indispensable partner in terms of board decision. We quite often send a board member to the company. At least half of the time we send a board member to the company. And so board decision, management decision, access to firms and network and business development. These are all very key, important value added that we as a firm can provide to investee companies, just besides money. And we try to help companies avoiding making typical mistakes. A lot of companies have different perspectives, than us when looked at from the outside. Typically, they say, "Oh, we are always ahead. Competitors are incompetent." They don't say that, but it's very can feel very strongly that they think that they're always ahead. It's not true. And they say, well, they don't say this either. But what they are saying, the market is waiting for us. The market is not waiting for you, so it's sometimes quite difficult to make them realize that you really have to work hard to catch up or to be a forefront of the competition and try to capture the market opportunity at the excuse me, not too late. And typically companies are unrealistically optimistic about cost, schedule for product development and commercialization. This point is basically apply to the above these points as well. So in a nutshell, companies tend to be fairly optimistic about cost and schedule and product development and commercialization. Those are the areas that we really have to work closely to help them avoid making mistakes. Also, we consider it's important to build a close personal relationship. But at the same time, it's very important to work together professionally at arm's length. And there may be a time when a change in the management team is needed. I mean, as an early investor, what do we see? Most of the situations, one or two or more of the management team are, destined to be replaced, and it's too bad. But for the purpose of, for the sake of the company's growth, quite often actually happens, and we have to be very professional at that time. Excuse me. So finally, what about the exit? As a firm, our goal is to achieve at least a 25% internal rate of return, which translates to 2x in 3 years or 3x in 5 years in terms of valuation. And as I mentioned earlier, realistically, now it's a liquidity environment is quite challenging. Liquidity opportunity is still scarce. Limited encouraging signs in the IPO market, and most of exits will be through M&A. But one point to mention is that we still do not want to see business plans with merger and acquisitions exit incorporated a priori. In other words, sometimes when we see companies, we ask about what do you think about the future of the company. Some people say, well, it can be acquired by a company, or we can exit through M&A, and we don't like that kind of answer. Because we strongly believe that the company should strive for sustainable business to start with, at least. But at the same time, we try not to put unreasonable pressure on the companies for exit. And too much pressure for an exit will have a fairly bad impact on the company's operation, and also the relationship between the companies and us. Sometimes, but we always encourage strategic alliance with other companies, because that's typically, especially today, it's a norm to do a lot of partnership, open innovation, strategic alliance in manufacturing and commercialization, marketing and sales, and so forth. And then if that leads to an exit, that's certainly okay. Now, I have almost spent 1 hour, so probably I should just stop here. I see a lot of question and comments in the chat space here. Let me okay, Daryl, are you there?
I'm here, and we're ready to answer any questions if any person would have any.
How do we do that? Can we use audio, or do we use the chat? Yeah.
They would type it in the chat box. Yeah, see, there are already 2 questions, plus you can go back and grab the ones that were earlier just by scrolling up.
Try to answer the most recent one, but okay. Okay, how are we going to copy the slides? some of the questions, maybe you can answer, like, are we allowed to copy the slides? Um, Certainly, it's okay from our from my perspective, but I don't know what the IEEE's policy is. So, okay. A lot of questions are about audio, so let me just go through, scan the chat, and go to the first. Let me try to go to the first question. Uh-huh. Let's see. Okay.
Mike, you can
Okay, I'm chatting. Yeah.
answer the question.
Yeah. Oh. I talk? I mean, can I answer questions verbally, or I started putting in answers on my chat?
No, you can answer them verbally.
Okay, thank you. It's a reasonable amount of time. Typically, we look for situations where the commercial products will come out in the market in 3 to 5 years. Let's see. Well, let's see. Resume location. Oh, there's a question about the area of investment, a geographical area. Yes, venture capital is a fairly local business, and there's a rule called, like, 1 hour rule or 2 hour rule, which means that we invest in companies located within 1 hour or 2 hour reach at most, because we are active investors, and we, after investment, we meet with companies. We speak with the companies very often, almost daily, and we really have to be. The company has to be really close, and close to our where we are, so that we can reach fairly easily. And so that means we invest mostly within Silicon Valley. There was one exception we did. Heliovolt was in Texas, and that's kind of an exception. Let's see. Let me go to other. What are the typical ages of founder? Okay. What are the typical ages founder? Baby boomers or? Okay. This is a good question. The typical age of founders, I see average, I would say, like 40 plus minus. So between baby boomers and Generation Y. And in terms of interesting, in terms of original nationality, half of the people we meet are uh, either I would say one third will be like Indian, another one third is Chinese. It's a very international, especially basically. I think it's because we're in Silicon Valley, maybe, but a lot of business plan from Chinese and Indian. That's why Silicon Valley is called as IC, um, Indian Chinese Valley, Silicon Valley. Now, let's see. I'm looking at the question randomly. What investment in the green sector do you see on the horizon? Okay. Excuse me. What investment in the green sector do you see on the horizon? I think first of all, in the solar sector, photovoltaic sector have been funded probably enough. Well, never enough, but so probably the money will go into other areas. Namely, I would think smart grid and a battery. Energy storage, energy management. Those are the areas I see probably receiving more money in the future. Let's see. Let me go back to some of the questions. How does M&A affect the investment of shares for a company? Don't quite understand the question, but affect the investment of the share for a company. Well, as I said earlier, this is the question. I'm addressing the question of, the question moved here. In terms of merger and acquisition will be, I would say, predominantly, the exit for a company will be predominantly M&A. Especially for this sector, because typically the green tech projects are long-term projects requiring a large amount of money, and so not only just because of the economic situation, but due to the nature of inherent nature of the green tech investment, or green tech projects. I think the role of venture capital is providing funds in early stage, early stage in the company, and the company will be destined to become a part of much larger companies. That's a very likely scenario. The question I see here: the strength of IP weighs heavily on the VC's valuation. It's an early stage. It weighs a lot of weight, and it carries a lot of weight. Later stage, certainly, IP remains important, but other aspects of the company's operation and company's excuse me, is become increasingly important. Do you fund give grant to engineering firms? The question. To the question whether we fund grants or fund engineering firms, typically not. Well, certainly there may be some exceptions, but when you say engineering firms, we do not typically invest in service companies. It's very hard to see engineering firms become very big. Oh, certainly there are very large engineering firms, but they are not venture capital. Uh, the fit is I don't see much fit between in in the engineering firms. Was it? Okay, let's see some other after seeing making party to as no technology community APs before going. Well, for solving technical problem, it's not it's not the role of VC firms to solve problems of technology. We introduce companies to people who can probably help companies solve technical problems, but we are not in the business of actually solving technical problems. I've seen marketing. Let's see. I've seen Makani Power receives. Okay, Makani. You're talking. Someone is talking about Makani. Actually, we just visited Makani last week, and for a second time. I think yes, it's an interesting proposition. The Makani, for the sake of the other audience, the Makani is it's not really. It's almost like a kite. Connected with a tether to the ground, and the propellers connected to the wing up in the air, like 500 meters, generate electric power, not at the at the ground station, but at the propeller or the wing. And I think it's an interesting idea, but also there are a lot of questions about safety and before that maybe will that really work? Certainly I cannot talk too much about what's happening there, but I think at least it's interesting idea, worth pursuing, I think. Let's see. Hey, Daryl, it's already like 2:10 East Coast time. Can we continue,
It's up to you.
or
I mean, we can take. I would say we can take one or two more questions, and we'll have to end it.
oh, not pushing talk button when I try to answer the question regarding uh, the possibility of enlisting the service of technology advisor. Yes, we on an ad hoc basis we talk to experts and technical experts, both in terms of due diligence, technical due diligence, and also from the point of view of coming up with some ideas about solving problems. Actually, there's interesting comments. I'd like to answer it. Yeah, it's called entrepreneurship, but government, VCs, and financial institutions getting in the way. Actually, green tech is the one area where actually government support is very, very helpful, and I would say almost inevitable because the business in the green tech area really cannot survive just based on market economy. Really needs help from the government. This is one area that we are as VC welcome governments, especially funding. Without that, it's very difficult, tough call. Uh, okay, let me ask. Yeah, just one more question then. The question of where would be a listing of green VCs in the country? Actually, yeah, there's directory. I mean, there is a organization called National Venture Capital Association, which includes directory of VCs. But I don't think there is a list of just green VCs. There may be some website which lists many green VCs, but I have not really paid attention to that.
Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. Please look out for future webinars in 2010 on our website at IEEEUSA.org. And that's about it. Thank you, Masa, and we appreciate your all your information.
Thank you very much.